Wednesday today. Wasn't able to get down here on Monday. So Mike and I are down here today, and we're going to finish cleaning up, adjusting the switches, doing a little wiring and a little dressing up, and basically finishing up and wrapping up the electronics portion of this pinball machine. Now we are liable to do a little tweaking on the colors and stuff, and Mike mentioned that up in the light area up here, he wants to add some more LEDs, so we'll probably be drilling some holes up there and adding a few more LEDs to that string to get that to look the way he wants, and we're thinking about adding some visual effects on the power-up sequence and stuff like that. So that's going to be it for today, and it's coming up on Thanksgiving. And Mike and I belong to our local exchange club, and this is getting to be the busy time of the year for us for fundraising and stuff. We have a pictures with Santa thing. We have a Christmas parade. We're still working on building some ramps, and there's a lot of other stuff going on. So this will probably be the last video that we actually shoot down here this year. It'll probably be January before we pick back up on working on the pinball machine again. We do have, though, spoiler coming up here. We ordered some LED lights numbers to replace the numbers here in the thing, and we designed our own board and sent it off and had it manufactured in China, and it will be arriving this Friday along with all of the components, the displays and stuff to populate it and connectors. And so I will be in my spare time putting that together and probably building a little tester to test them with. I'll probably film some of that, so I'll pop a film in here in a week or two about putting these things together and testing them out and seeing how they work. We will need to figure out how to mount them on the backboard, because unlike the original Bally, which used two boards, this is a single board. How does he always know I'm talking? Anyway, so this is going to be a single board, and we're planning on 3D printing a mount to hold them, and that needs to be designed and set up too. So all of that is going to get done in the next month or so. So the first thing, of course, is to populate it and test it and make sure that my design is valid. We never even breadboarded it, so it likely won't work when we get it, and it'll take some fixing. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, for now, we're going to get ready and we're going to film in slow motion what this thing does when it powers up, so we can hopefully monitor the light sequence and then write a program that watches for that light sequence to occur, and then do some modifications to the light sequence to mirror up with the original power on when the guy says 8-ball deluxe, and we want to make the 8-ball deluxe light up as he's saying that. Okay, the very first thing that I am going to do is I am going to take this plug, power cord that we have connected up into our 5-volt power supply that's driving my computer, and I am going to cut apart these wires and splice this power in here so that it picks up power from the switch on the bottom, as opposed to being on all the time. So so let me figure out how I'm going to do that, and then we'll basically figure out which wires I have to cut open. We'll cut them, solder them together, and put some heat shrink on them to secure it. Okay, I moved it to the other side of the pinball machine so I can just show you what's going on here. So this striped green and yellow wire, black and white wire coming in here is the power coming in from the power cord in the back. and it goes first to that utility outlet, and that's an unswitched outlet. Then it continues on through this plug, runs around over here, and into the switch, which is underneath this plastic cup. Then it comes back out of there after it's been switched as a yellow, blue, and green ground wire, and continues on to power up the power supply and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these two wires right here. I'm going to take my power wire for the 5-volt supply. I'm going to splice it in, solder it, shrink tube some shrink on that, and that should have our 5-volt supply all wired in. I will probably move you back to the other side so I can work here without working around the camera, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, just so you guys know I'm safe, there is the power cord that plugs this whole machine in, so it is definitely not plugged in. I will just slip this back here to make sure it doesn't get plugged in. And then I'll start this modification process. I'll probably move you guys into hyperlapse because this is going to take a few minutes to get done, and it's really not all that exciting. Okay, we got that all wired up. As you guys saw, we decided to use wire nuts as opposed to solder and shrink tubing, but that all should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in, try the switch out, make sure it works, and then we'll move on. And that looks like it is working fine.
Well, the proof is when you turn it off.
Yeah.
Do the lights stay on?
The lights go back off. So everything is good.
All right. So now we're ready to do switch adjustments?
I think I'm gonna, well, we can do that, or we can finish cabling up, dressing up the rest of the cables and tying them in bundles. That should only take a little bit of time.
All right, well, I got a rhythm going over here. So
Okay, I'll continue on with that. Okay, so we got that wiring done. I'm going to off camera continue lacing up all of the wires and neatening up the bundles and stuff like that. You guys don't need to watch all of that. And when we get done with that, Mike's over stripping a table down. One of the next projects we're thinking about doing is a little wall art, just basically a little microprocessor flashing a light on one of the old boards that we took apart. So So anyway, while he's stripping over there, I'm going to go ahead and dress these wires down, and then we're going to join back up together and start adjusting the switches and stuff on here. So bring you back when we're ready for that. Okay, it's a little dark inside the box, but hopefully you can see that we've got the cables all fairly nicely dressed down. We've screwed the power supply down. We've grounded it to the safety ground cable on coming across the box there. We've of course wired in that power cord we did earlier. We've cable tied up all of the bundles and all of the loose wires down here. So the underside of the box is pretty clean and probably where we're going to leave it. We didn't get into the back box yet. There's a little bit of cleanup work that we need to do back in there also. But we're going to move on to adjusting the switches now. So Mike is adjusting the two left-hand drains. Both those switches are not sensitive enough. They don't register the ball every time it goes over there. So he's just adjusting the top leaf to provide a little more downward pressure. And hopefully that will do it. In a bit we'll turn on the machine and make sure that they register. Basically he's just using a pair of angled needle nose pliers to apply a little angle pressure. That looks like it might be closed all the time, but
Yep, it is.
yeah, so I bent it a little too far. And if anybody's ever worked on a pinball machine, you know all about this part of it, because every one of them, they actually make a little tool that looks like a 90-degree screwdriver with a slot in it designed to slip over those. Of course, we're too cheap to buy something like that. So anyway, we're going to continue on and play around with these other switches and stuff. I'm not sure we're going to film all of this either, but we'll bring you back when we get into the testing mode where we check each switch out and make sure it's working. So we think we've got the switches adjusted. We're going to be testing here in a little bit, but Mike is cleaning some of the detritus off of the play field, and when he gets done with that, we'll reinstall the ball and we will start a game. I'll put you guys up on a tripod so you can watch, and we'll see how well it plays. So if this is good, this sort of ends the mechanical part of this. Obviously, we still have a little bit of light work to do on the back box there, but all in all, we are really close to wrapping this one up. We still want to do a paint job on the cabinet, although, to be perfectly frank, I think this looks just fine. But Mike's a perfectionist, so we'll probably be doing a paint job on it. But since it's winter time here now, we might wait to spring to actually spray that paint on. So we might move on to another project like the wall art or the Miss Pac-Man game or something like that. So we'll see. But anyway, I'll have you guys up on a tripod watching this game in a moment. Okay, we got the tables all cleaned up. Mike is gonna get a ball out and add it to the table and start playing here. And what are you looking for?
Drop card didn't set.
Interesting.
So here, what we were saying over here, we have issues, right?
Yep, that worked.
Nice. I think pretty well, and then it was up here. And it has to go up kind of against that rail because the target is offset.
That's the way it's set up.
But that's the standard.
Yep, if you don't get it up,
It's got to go
you can
up
miss
this
it.
rail.
It's designed so you can miss it. Oh.
No, that one didn't do it. Yeah, maybe we do need to adjust that one a little bit more. I thought it was pretty damn close. Let's play. Let's see here.
What's looking for?
The
Oh, the metal thing.
So we want to adjust that one a little bit. And all the time it's coming up that long. Yeah, that one rolled over the 80 next door. See that bounces.
At least you don't scratch when you get the 8-ball out of turn, right? Made it that time.
And we're over it nice and slow. I wonder if that's an indication that the this ain't gonna do it right. Maybe the capacitors is not good. If it goes over real fast.
Yeah, it may not have a cap on it. They don't normally have caps on the rollover ones.
Make the 8-ball. Make the 8-ball. Corner pocket. 8-ball. Corner pocket.
Good catch. Oh, bad catch.
Alright, so we need some work on the A.
Go ahead and just kick it off, and let me touch the A there and see what it does.
Well, do it quickly. If you go slow, oh, that one worked. And maybe it just needs a little closer.
It might just need a little cleaning. It might. Yes, let's clean it.
Yeah, it's pretty. Are you taping still?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I am. Okay, round two. We adjusted a few more switches, and we're gonna start testing again. Well, that made it real quick that time.
1-ball. 5-ball. 6-ball.
I don't like the way it just throws the ball down into the A. When you pull it back hard. Get the nuance of the game.
But every switch so far looks like it's working well. play two-player so we can watch the solenoids set.
Chalk up.
Damn.
House ball. Oh, you're the house. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I ordered a house. That yellow is arrow. The right arrow looks greenish.
Get the A. Shoot for A ball. Corner pocket. Shoot for A ball.
It's still not scoring points.
I didn't know what points you're talking about.
In that, those little bounces.
These on you here?
Yeah.
Some of them are. What lights those two things up?
When you get A and B, go ahead and get the A. And then just
Make the C.
see how that one's nice and yellow, and that one almost looks green.
Yeah. I wonder why. I'll check the code.
Make the 7. Sink the A ball. Corner pocket.
When it's talking, it won't give you the sound because the sound is trying to make that sound.
Go for B.
Yeah. The sound overrides the. I think they're making okay.
1 ball. Make the C. Shot. Get the Deluxe.
I haven't seen you make it into the saucer yet.
Get make the A ball. Corner pocket.
The shots are a little not
Go for
like they used to be, so I'm gonna have to. I need to play it.
Yeah,
Because
the-
every machine has its nuance.
Right.
I mean, I used to be able to just nail this rail, but now I got to get so far down on the end of the flipper to get it.
Yeah, tell you what, get it started. I want to just push that into the saucer up, and I'll just knock it into the top.
Chalk up.
Okay, so that's bad.
Well, it may not be activated.
Well, I can't get it in because it's made it through, made it out though.
So what does that mean? We need to adjust the
It,
plastic.
I think the plastic needs to be shaved off just a hair.
C.
I'm getting the hang of that lane because that's a critical shot,
Yeah.
especially when you don't have a rack or two there.
Get the A
This is the hard way to get it, but it's.
or A ball on your pocket.
I think it's
I'm gonna
good.
call it 99% here.
Sink the A ball on your pocket.
There we
Nice
go.
shot.
Let me get a deluxe before we go. See, now once you go through, even if you get the deluxe or you don't, once you get it, it pops them all back up on
Right.
the same ball. But now you get this 56K. Now this bonus multiplier becomes a lot more attractive.
Well, guys, I'm gonna stop the filming for today. Actually, maybe for the year. So anyway, it looks like we've got this game just about nailed. It's beautiful in my eyes. So it's been fun. How do you fix that?
I don't know how we fix that. We may have
If anybody knows how to fix that, let us know. Thanks for watching, guys.